Are we live? There we are. Okay. What's up, John in Lexington? Tansy in LA. We just spoke. Jay down in Ontario, Canada. Miranda. Thank you, Miranda. Hello from Ponchatoula, Louisiana. Is that what that is? Cool. Big Vermont. Hello, Vanessa from Dallas. Hello there. How are you? Very awesome. Okay. Let's see. Johnson City, Tennessee, Marcy. Hi, Nina. Happy Thursday to you. Hello, Celeste. Rebecca from Idaho. Deborah from Australia. Kristen from Southeast Washington State. Brant, thank you. I appreciate it. Charlie was excellent. Deborah from Greensburg, Indiana, I think. Sonia in Orlando, but she's not really from Orlando. Jay, hello from Buffalo, New York. Brooks, I heard Glenn Beck got a couple good ones out there. Stephanie from Dunedin, I've been there, beautiful area. Thank you, Suzanne. You enjoyed last night's show. I appreciate it. Carol, I won't mention her last name, confidentiality, but Carol and her whole family showed up today from the Midwest to say hello. They were awesome. What a great family. Let's see. Miles from Athens, Georgia. And Carol's family actually gave me a shirt, but I'm not going to wear it tonight because it's a short show. I'll wear it on a better show, but I thank them very much. They gave me an amazing 1776 We the People Constitution shirt, which you'll see maybe tomorrow when I have a full show. I like to give it a good exposure. Tonight's a short show because I'm waiting for the president to come on, and I am not upstaging the president. So there you go. What's up, Bradley from Nolanville? Hello. Allison from Staten Island. Beautiful. Keith in Brisbane, Australia. Let's see. I'm reading the comments. I will be honest with you. I had to compose myself because of some of the speakers that were just on. And I will tell you, whew, man, I'm going to go into that tonight. Tonight's going to be a short show. Again, anywhere from 10 minutes to probably 30 minutes, depending on if I think the president comes on at 10:30-ish, but it could be 10. I don't know. But we'll see. So, Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network, your source for health, freedom, and knowledge. I appreciate you being on tonight. And I was going to put together a whole show tonight, but tonight's the final night. And I thought, you know what? Let's just speak off the cuff because I can put a whole bunch of stuff together. But one, I don't know how long this is going to go. And two, let's be honest. This week has been amazing. Tonight, Jennifer, you're right. Tonight has been fire. I mean, I actually have to go back and watch it because I haven't been able to see all the speakers. But tonight has been amazing, and they are definitely pulling on the emotional heartstrings to close this thing down. I can't even fathom what the president plans on saying tonight and what he is going to talk about. But I'm going to get into that in a second. I first want to jump on and say I did not hear the whole speech, but I heard some of Sean Reyes from Utah. And I will tell you, here, Rudy Giuliani is coming on now. So he's probably phenomenal, but I'm going to keep going. So I just want to say, Sean Reyes, Utah. So he talked about things like human trafficking. He's talked about drugs. And so I kind of have to go down that road because I have a personal experience with what has happened to this country from a drug standpoint, from a alcohol standpoint, from a standpoint of destroying the population. You know, population control is not just vaccines. It's not just chemtrails. It's not just, all this stuff that we talk about every day. They helped cull the population by dumbing us down and adding poisons into the human body. So, and Blaine actually talked about this as well. And so I have personal experience. I have my family, even though the DNA doesn't show it. I don't know why. I have most of my background in my family is Native American. Native Americans call alcohol firewater for a reason. Alcohol is meant at best in small moderations. It was never meant to do what we've done to it in America. And so I grew up, my parents divorced at a very early age, or my early age, and I spent most of my time with my mom. And my mom, who I'm sure will see this and she'll probably, lose it a little. My mom lived two lives. My mom lived a life of taking care of me and then my sister as well later. And she worked 2 or 3 jobs at any given time. And she busted her butt, made probably minimum wage most of the time. I remember many nights going to bed while she was working and she was bartending just to get by. And literally people downstairs would make sure I was okay and everything was fine. I would fall asleep and I wake up the next morning and she'd be there because she did what had to be done. Her other life was that of alcoholism. I'm going to say drugs. I wouldn't necessarily say drug addiction because I don't fully know the story. She hasn't given me all those details, probably for protection reasons. Not that I need the protection, but I know she did drugs. And she was on welfare probably twice what I recall to get by, but she didn't stay on welfare. She kept working and then got back off because she understood she still was raised by people who taught you how to work and that work was required to hold your own in this life and in this country. But there was at least 2 occasions where she almost died. And I remember when I was very young going to the hospital because she was in a car accident. Because I don't remember if she had been drinking that night. I know she was drinking, but I don't remember if she was like driving drunk or if she had fell asleep. I don't remember which one. But the whole point was I walked into the hospital room and I just remember her being completely covered, mostly in bandages, and it was a very quick in and out. I have a glimpse of a couple seconds of the experience. And it was not a pleasant experience. And then one other time, another accident, which is, I believe, the second accident was when she recovered. Born again, 12 steps, AA, and she's, I don't know how many years now, but I'm saying 20, maybe 20 plus years of sobriety now for alcohol, drugs, as well as psychiatric medications. Clean. And she went through it the hard way. Like, she actually took herself through her own rehab. I mean, she did AA, but she also took herself through withdrawals where she laid on a couch because she knew she had to get off everything, but there was no other way to do it in her mind. So she fought through it. So I have an experience with alcohol and drugs. Now, I've never done drugs. I've had a couple nights out where I drank in college and I just never really got into it. Probably because I saw what she had done and I had just had an aversion to it the whole time. So I had a couple fun nights with friends, but nothing that ever got out of control. There were a couple nights where I remember in my 20s where I probably drove when I should not have drove, and I had a very big wake-up call. Nothing bad happened, but more of just a conscience came up and said, don't ever do that again. And I didn't. But drugs and alcohol, now I'm not bypassing that my mom had a choice and she made the choice to consume that, right? And that's her choice and she owns that. But one of the problems with this country is the people that ran it. Not our country. Our country doesn't have a problem. Our people don't have a problem. We were given a problem by very dark people to destroy our country from within by making the alcohol and pushing it in our faces so that we'll continue to consume the poison. Putting the drugs in our faces so we'll continue to consume the drugs. And then putting drugs and alcohol really cheaply into the inner city so that they can get black people and other minorities hooked on it to destroy them because they're racist. The American people are not racist. They, the powers that be, are the racists. They want you destroyed. They want minorities destroyed. They want us destroyed. So they continue to funnel drugs, human trafficking into this country to destroy this country. On top of that, you give them so much drugs that they become desensitized to it. Suicide skyrockets. I have at least 2 or 3 family members who killed themselves because of drugs and alcohol. And again, I'm not saying their choices were right, and I'm not saying they didn't have choices. Everyone has a choice whether to consume or not consume. And there are, of course, mental issues that people deal with. And that is one of the reasons why they do that in the first place. But just like as a physician, if someone has a problem, you don't continue putting the problem in front of them hoping that they don't take part in it. America now has an opioid problem, a painkiller problem. We are 5% of the world's population, and we consume 80% of the opioids in the world. We did not go to war with Iraq and Afghanistan because of 2 towers in New York City on 9/11. 9/11 was an inside job pulled off by your government with the work of Saudi Arabia and the Mossad in Israel. That's the truth. Those are the facts. The details you can go look up yourself. We're over there so that we can have our troops used as pawns to protect the poppy fields so that they can continue to create more drugs and pharmaceuticals that they can pump into our country to continue to destroy us from within. Slowly, it's been a disease, a cancer that they inserted into us to allow us to implode from within. I don't ever condone anyone's decision to take medication, painkillers, drugs, alcohol, etc. Everyone has a choice, of course. Everyone has a choice. You see these complete morons in Wisconsin getting shot at. You had like 2 or 3 people die last night because someone used self-defense and blew them away. It's interesting. Why is it always radical groups that end up having people dying? Oh, that's right, because they made stupid choices to go in and riot. You don't see a bunch of conservatives. You don't see a bunch of libertarians. You don't see a bunch of traditional American patriots having enough time in their hands to go into the cities at night and cause problems and blow people away or get blown away. It doesn't work that way because we don't think that way. There are choices in life. But it's hard to make a right choice when you have the puppets and the puppet masters funneling toxins into your country, saying, don't take drugs. Don't take drugs. That's what they say on TV. But then behind the scenes, they're funneling it into every single city in America, going as fast as they can to make America fall. We are the last beacon of life on this planet. There are other countries out there that are amazing countries. No one has the founding documents that we have. No one has what our founders came up with, because they were also battling the bankers. They are battling the same exact thing back then that we're battling today. They broke free, but then it infiltrated itself back in to America. So I'm actually going to conclude this in the next few minutes on this. And I'll repeat this later in the week, but maybe you watched the Democratic National Convention last week. The only thing they had to say was America is systemically racist, President Trump is bad, wear your masks for the next year, more taxes, defund the police, America bad, America bad, America bad. That was their message. That's it. Oh, by the way, also kill babies. That's also their message too. Kill more babies. It's okay. And get your vaccination. That's the Democrat message. That's the radical liberal message. That is the cabal deep state message. I actually feel bad for honest Democrats out there. I feel bad for honest Democrats because you know what? This is not the Democratic Party of JFK. Now, I've never been a Democrat, but I will tell you, I know Democrats that are good people that think what's going on out there right now is completely insane. I know Democrats who are flipping parties because they realize the radicalness of what is going on right now. When you have Kamala Harris on Stephen Colbert's show or whatever it was, say these riots are not going to stop, and basically hinting towards promoting them, that is a treasonous conspiratorial act. That is a crime against America. I actually feel bad for anyone out there right now. Anyone out there, whether I don't care if you have been on this feed for a long time. I don't care if you stumble upon this channel in the next day, week, month, year, whatever. I actually feel horrible for you if you vote blue on November 3rd. You are voting for the destruction of the country that you were born into and you live in. Or not born into. Maybe you're naturalized. That's fine. You're voting for the destruction of your country, and you're voting for the destruction of the person, the president running your country. It's so funny. For 8 years, I disagreed with President Obama's policies and ideologies. But never once did myself or friends or family ever hope that he failed. I said I wanted him out of office, but I never wanted him to fail. He's running our country. I need him to succeed. If you're voting blue in this election, I will go to the extent of saying that is disgraceful. Now, let me flip to the other side. I'm not a Democrat Republican mindset. I was actually more libertarian mindset, but I lean towards conservative ways. I despise the left right paradigm. I actually know how it works. I understand. I've been studying this for a decade plus. I understand how they play you both sides of the aisle on emotion to just go back and forth in the globalist train. I understand it completely. I hope this is the last election I ever have to vote for a party. I actually hope that this whole thing is reset after he's elected. I hope that they remove most of Congress and start over. And I hope that they change the rules and put term limits in. And I hope that they take the party lines and labels right off. I'm done with the Republican Democrat dual system. However, if you are not voting red this election, from Congress to presidency to your local elections, if you are not voting red, it's a disgrace. If you watch this and don't see the promotion of America, I don't know what you're looking at. You aren't awake. You are actually, by the way, if you're watching this and you watch the DNC and you don't see the light on the red side right now, you are so programmed into the matrix, you don't even know it. Literally, they reprogrammed your mind and your brain to being a puppet. I don't know anyone who's watched this RNC and not been completely inspired. And keep in mind, I understand sales and marketing, right? Tonight, they're going for the close with emotion, and the president finishes it off. I get it. They're selling, totally selling. That's the game. That's how it works, right? I fell for some of the emotion. However, they're not even PR spinning it. They're being so real, it's unbelievable. I never imagined the President of the United States saying the words big pharma. You have to understand. When you say big pharma, you're not saying it in a positive light. That's a natural health, alternative health world word. When you say pharmaceuticals, okay, I get it. But big pharma is a negative connotation. I have heard no less than 10 people during this convention, from Donald Trump Jr. to Eric Trump to Tiffany Trump to Rand Paul to Melania Trump, all say that they want to give money to parents, the money that parents are already spending in taxes. They want that money to go back into the parents' hands for school choice. They want to hand responsibility of the education of your children back to you where it belongs. Because guess what? Part of the cabal secret was to take your kids over and indoctrinate them into the slavery matrix. They are working on legislation to give the power back to you, the parents. Let me tell you, if they had some ulterior motive, and they were trying to march you to a new world order here in the Republican National Convention, and it's all just a setup to get us all drugged and everything else, you would not have that many people talking about being able to send your kids to any school you deemed necessary, and you are now responsible for making those decisions. And then to say we're going to start teaching American historical history. If you're not voting red this election, I don't at this point know what else to tell you. I am literally watching I never ever thought that I would see this from the Republicans, because the Republicans are, in the last 30 years, they've become war hawks like you would not believe. That's one of the reasons I didn't leave my status as Republican, but that's why I flipped libertarian, because I just can't do the war thing. I can't. I don't believe in killing our soldiers. I don't believe in nation building. I just don't. I believe in self-defense. I believe in making a powerful military to defend us. And if we have to go somewhere, you go in, you strike, you finish it, you come back home. That's it. Never did I believe that the President of the United States and his children and Rand Paul would say, this is the first president in, I don't even know how many years, to not only not start a war, but actually bring the troops home. You realize the President of the United States is not actually a Republican, right? He's not a Republican. He's also not a Democrat. What he is a human being that appears to love his country, appears to understand the Americans as a working people. This guy understands billionaires because he is one, and he understands all the way down the ladder to the person who's making minimum wage, trying to get by, might be on welfare, and is trying to get off. He understands it. In closing, because I think he's coming on pretty soon, it's time. This election's it. I'm sorry if you decide that blue is the right choice. It tells me you're completely and utterly brainwashed. It is time to rebuild America the way it should have been in the very beginning, and getting back to our roots. Everybody, it's now time to go watch. It's time to listen to the President of the United States. This is Dr. Jason Dean, Revolution Network, signing off. Have a wonderful, beautiful night, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.